Hello, welcome. This is the orientation session for the entry-level firefighter for 2024's testing. I wanted to first thank you for your interest in the Springfield Fire Department. What you are about to embark upon is the testing process for becoming an entry-level Springfield firefighter. The job of firefighter is very rewarding, and I would assume that that is why you have chosen to take the test. Today we're going to go over some of the requirements and what the process entails. That way you will be prepared when you show up to take the written test, the oral assessment test, and the CPAT test. Further questions can always be directed to Human Resources if those arise. I'm joined today by Fire Division Chief Todd Taylor and Human Resources Representative Kim Homeyer, and they will be speaking on several of these topics as well. First, I want to talk about the qualifications. The qualifications are that you must be a U.S. citizen. You must be between the ages of 20 and 34 years of age. In the entry-level packet are more details on the age requirements because there are some exemptions to that age requirement. You must also be either a high school graduate or have a GED equivalent. You must have the ability to pass all phases of the testing process. You must have no felonies, and there are certain misdemeanors that will disqualify you from this process. We do have a Springfield Fire Department tattoo policy, and you are not allowed to have any offensive or inappropriate visible tattoos. And the other requirement is that you must have vision correctable to 20/40 with no monochromatic color blindness. As you'll see on this next slide, you can go to the following sites to start the application process. I'm going to turn it over to Human Resources, Kim Homeyer, and she'll talk about the written exam.
Hello. The written exam will be held on two different dates. August 1st and 3rd, we'll have a morning and an afternoon session. Those are set for 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. This will be at the Lincoln Land Community College Logan Hall, which is located at 5250 Shepherd Road in Springfield. The test consists of cognitive and behavioral sections, and it will take 2.5 hours to complete. Your minimum passing score is a 70. The cognitive component includes multiple choice questions that are designed to assess verbal comprehension, verbal expression, problem sensitivity, deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, information ordering, mathematical reasoning, and number facility. The behavioral components of the written exam include questions designed to assess personal characteristics such as motivation, attitude, teamwork, and stress tolerance. I do want to point out for people that have taken our written test before, we have entered into a contract with a new company, which is IO Solutions. So the written exam might be slightly different than what you've experienced in the past. I want to just cover some explanations on cognitive dimensions. Deductive reasoning, that is the process of reasoning from one or more statements to reach a logically certain conclusion. Deductive is certain. Inductive reasoning is reasoning in which the premises seek to supply strong evidence for, not absolute proof of, the truth and conclusion. Inductive is probable. Problem sensitivity, it's the ability to tell when something is wrong or is likely to go wrong. Verbal comprehension, a person's capacity to understand the language utilized by other people. Verbal expression, the activity of communicating and conveying information. Information ordering, the ability to arrange things or actions in a certain order or pattern according to a specific rule or set of rules, such as patterns of numbers, letters, words, pictures, and mathematical operation. The behavioral section, strong people skills, strong communication skills, both verbal and written, a sense of fairness in dealing with people and issues, a high degree of honesty, a willingness to seek input from others and build a consensus, open-minded, flexible, a well-controlled ego, self-confident, a good listener, able to be direct when needed without being abusive or offensive, and a sincere interest in people and their well-being. The testing company does provide a written exam study guide, which has some sample practice questions in it as well. As you can see on this slide, you will go to their website and enter in the coupon code, and you'll need to put in some personal information, and that way you'll be able to refer back to it if you're not able to cover it all in one sitting. There's also a phone number if you have any issues on obtaining that study material. The next phase is the oral assessment, and this is the heaviest weighted part of the test. So this will be 60% of your grade, and the written comes out to 40% of your overall score. So what is an oral assessment? This one is a panel interview. It's not like your one-on-one interviews with somebody. This is designed to assess the most critical job-related skills and abilities. Each candidate will be asked the same series of questions, ranging from hypothetical scenarios to specific questions about how you tend to deal with issues. The assessments will be conducted by a diversified panel of individuals that are from the Springfield Fire Department, community, and city management. Each question has a time limit. Some questions have 2 parts to it. The candidate reads along as each question is read out loud to them. Once you have completed your response, let the panel know so that they can move on to the next question. Please keep in mind that you cannot go back to a question once you have completed your response. We do offer an oral assessment training. This is to help individuals prepare for this portion, and you will actually get to sign up and go through some mock interviews. You'll have mock assessors. They will be critiquing you, providing information to you that will assist you in preparing for the actual oral assessments. Now, this will be provided to individuals that pass the written exam. And so once we are notified of the passing scores, then we will reach out to candidates and provide further information on how to sign up for this portion. I do strongly recommend that you sign up. We're going to offer a couple different dates, and then also times during the day, and then also in the evening as well.
We do strongly recommend that you do attend one of these oral assessment training sessions if you've never participated in a fire entry-level test. It'll give you an idea of how the format is run. So we strongly recommend that you do attend one of these sessions.
From there, we offer preference points, and there's a couple different types of points that we do. So in accordance with the Illinois state statute, preference points will be awarded to eligible candidates who make the published initial eligibility list. No candidate may claim a preference prior to the written or oral examination being held. Candidates who are eligible for preference credit shall make a claim in writing within 10 days after the posting of the initial eligibility list, or the claim shall be deemed waived. Human Resources are the ones that will post this list. And again, you will be notified by email when this list is posted, and then additional information on how to claim those points. So the first one we have is for military. 5 points for 1 year of active military duty with honorable discharge, minimum of 1 year of total active duty, active service, and have been honorably discharged. This sometimes is more of a chore for National Guards members to achieve. We do count your basic training and your training from there, your AIT. If you have questions about that, you can always reach out to us and provide ahead of time your DD-214 just to be reviewed and to let you know if there's additional information we would need. But again, you cannot turn the actual one in until later in the testing process. We do also offer 5 points for residency. This is for candidates that's legal residence is within the Springfield, Illinois corporate limits, and they've been a resident for at least 9 consecutive months. So the dates would be November 3rd, 2023 through August 3rd, 2024. This is for immediately prior to taking the written exam. Documents that can be provided, and these are some of the easier ones to do, is if you have CWLP service, then you can get a statement from CWLP indicating your name, your address, and the length of time that you've been at that residence. We'll accept phone bills, internet bills, car insurance bills, property tax bill. That's another one that's easy because that will cover that time period for you as well. If you're not sure if you're in the corporate limits, you can always reach out to our department. We will look up your address and let you know. You can earn 2 points if you've successfully completed 2 years of study in a cadet training program. This is certified by the fire chief and fire post advisors, and it is in accordance with state statute. And I believe there's only 3 certified fire posts within the state of Illinois that would qualify an individual.
I'd like to go back on the first thing, 5 points for 1 year of active military service with honorable discharge. Kim can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're still an active member of the military, those 5 points, if you've already had the 1 year of total active duty, also apply. It does not mean that you have to have already discharged from the military.
No, but you would need to provide a DD
Provide the
214.
DD2, yes.
All right, so we, again, per state statute, have a couple different eligibility lists that we put out. So in the beginning, we do a preliminary list, which only covers the written exam. So it will have your name, and it will also have your score from the written exam on it. From there, we'll have an initial list that will consist of the written and oral exam scores, along with the candidate names. And then the final list will consist of written, oral, and preference points. As I stated earlier, the final scoring will be 40% written and 60% oral assessment. We will add veterans residency and cadet points to the final score. And candidates are rank ordered on the eligibility list, with number 1 being your top ranking. We have a civil service commission. It consists of 7 members. We have a chairman, a vice chairman, and 5 commissioners. They're all appointed by the mayor's office and approved by city council. They oversee the examination process. They review, approve, and/or deny any background investigations, psychological evaluations, medical examinations, and they also certify our eligibility lists.
The next part of the testing process is the CPAT, or the Candidate Physical Ability Test. This consists of the following: a stair climb that is 3 minutes in duration with a 20-second warm-up, and the candidate will wear a 75-pound vest, completing the stair climb at 60 steps per minute in 3 minutes. Then they will move on to a hose drag, an equipment carry, ladder raise and extension, a forcible entry portion, a search, which is a blind crawl through a maze of a confined space, a rescue, which consists of a drag of a dummy of 165 pounds through a 70-foot stretch, a ceiling breach and pull, which is a push-pull maneuver, and you must complete this entire process in less than 10 minutes and 20 seconds, the entire time wearing a 50-pound vest. The candidates must have a valid CPAT card to begin the background investigation process and to continue the exam process. You will see on the screen where the CPAT is offered, but it is offered at the Central Illinois Fire Chiefs in Decatur, Northeastern Illinois Public Safety Training in Glenview, and the Southwestern United Fire District in Indian Head Park. More details are in your entry-level firefighter packet.
Then we move into the background investigation. Not all candidates will move on to this and subsequent stages. Everyone is required to submit a copy of a birth certificate and a high school diploma or your GED, any college transcripts that you may have as well. Members of the Springfield Police Department's Criminal Investigation Section and the Fire Department perform the background investigations. A review of the original application and the personal history questionnaire to identify any conflicting or erroneous information. Obtaining and conducting a check on a complete set of fingerprints. The following agencies will be contacted and records reviewed. We'll look at Secretary of State reports that include driving record, any citations and license revocations that you may have. We'll check on your credit reports through the credit bureau, looking for outstanding debts, liens, judgments, child support payments, wage garnishments, and just looking for a general overall good credit reputation. City records that we'll look at will include police department, leads, NCIC, and the treasurer's office. County records for both local and any place that you may have lived previously. We'll look for any non-payment of taxes, legal actions, divorces, and court actions. We'll also obtain state's attorney records for Illinois and any other states that you may have lived in the past. FBI and IBI, anything on record for you. We will check into every previous employer, work attendance, work habits, relationships with other employees. If you've been in the military, we'll request all your military records. We will talk to your neighbors and family, try to get a general idea of what your habits may be. Any applicant who has been convicted of a felony or certain misdemeanors will be immediately disqualified. Please refer to your packet for more information on that. It's very important for you to return the personal history questionnaire on time and completed. We see a lot of people that fail to complete these questionnaires in their entirety. My recommendation would be don't leave any lines blank. If it's something that you don't know, dig up, find the answers. If you've moved around a lot or done a lot of job hopping, I would highly recommend you start looking up those records early rather than waiting until you get the background packet to complete. This is probably the biggest issue that we see with candidates is their failure to complete these things, and just know we really do vet this stuff pretty thoroughly. Once we do the background investigations, they are then turned over to the Civil Service Commission to review. The candidates are identified by candidate number. Therefore, the commission does not know your name, age, race, or gender. And the candidates will be notified by email if they passed or failed the background.
Just to add a couple things to that, the questionnaire is roughly like 47 pages long. It's
Yes.
pretty lengthy. And you're going to have to come up, just like Chief Taylor said, with all your addresses, employment. You're going to need to come up with references. I believe there's 9. There's
Correct.
Character reference, personal reference, and social reference. Start thinking about them now. That's going to help you because depending on the hiring timeline, you may get 5 days to complete the questionnaire and return it. If the timeline's going good, you might have 10 days to complete it. But if you've done all this work in advance, it's going to be really easy for you to fill that in because it'll be sent to you via email. It's an Adobe file, and so you can just type within the document. And I can't stress enough, make sure you save a copy for yourself. You'll need to print it out and actually sign some of the pages, include additional information, documents, and then get that mailed or dropped off to Human Resources by that deadline date. If you come up with any questions along the way, don't just assume the question doesn't apply to you, or if you ask somebody what they think it means, call Human Resources. We're going to be the ones to let you know what it means and provide you with any additional information that's needed. We have seen that the commission has removed individuals for lack of completing their questionnaire in entirety, and you didn't go throughout this process to be eliminated for something like that. So definitely allow yourself enough time. From there, again, the commission will review the background and determine if it's approved or not. If it is approved, then we will reach out with a conditional offer of employment, and then we would move on to the psychological portion of the hiring process. At that time, if you, for whatever reason, are not able to move forward to the psychological, you can request a one-time passover. This will keep your placement on the list, and if we go back to do another hiring, we will come back to you and let you know that we are hiring again, and if you want to move forward. If you decline at that time, then you would be removed from that current list. The psychological evaluation is conducted in two parts. We have a written portion and a one-on-one evaluation. Recently, the Civil Service Commission approved the option for candidates to participate remotely, and that helps, especially if you're a candidate from out of state, and that eliminates having to travel for that phase. Additional information on that will be covered once we get to that. Campion Barrow and Associates, they are in Champaign. That is the facility that we use, but we contract with for these evaluations. The candidates traveling there would be responsible for their own travel, and you should plan to spend the majority of the day taking that exam. The commission will be provided with the doctor's report. The individual will be, again, as we said before, the candidate ID number that's assigned to them. It's only to them, and it carries with them, starting from the oral assessment throughout the rest of the hiring process. Commission doesn't know who they are, race, gender, age. So they'll review the doctor's evaluation and determine if it's approved or not. From there, we go to the medical, drug, and agility screening. This is the final phase. It's a general system review that takes into account past history and present disease, general body condition, and physique. There'll be a color vision test, and we use the Ishihara test for that. You'll receive a drug test. And the agility portion is it's nothing like the CPAT. It's the job description and the physical attributes of the position. And an exam is developed, and then you're tested on, might be that you have to lift a certain amount of weight and so many repetitions, stooping, bending, things like that. Once we receive back the recommendations from the medical facility, which is HSHS Occupational Health here in Springfield, then that is, again, candidate ID. The rest, the name, age, gender is redacted, given to the commission. If they approve it, then Human Resources would be reaching out with an offer of employment. Again, keep in mind that with the CPAT card, you need to start looking at that. You get to the background phase and getting your CPAT scheduled, because it has to be valid at the time of hire. So we don't recommend that people run out and get it now, because the next hiring we would do would be around February of 2025. Is that correct?
February or later. So if you take it now, by the time you get through the process, your card may be expired. So the thing is you want the ability to be able to pass it, but it does cost to take that CPAT test. So you want to, it's kind of a timing thing. When you think that you will get hired, you need to have the card be valid. And again, as Kim said, it's only good for a year. So you want to try to maximize how long that card is good for. So yeah, if we don't hire until February or later, you probably want to start looking for test dates that are in that area so that you have a valid test. You may want to wait to see where you come out on the test, and if you're in the top 10, that might make a difference on on how soon you want to take the CPAT test, whereas if you were in the bottom 20, you may just wait, until the next test or whatever the case may be. So it is definitely one of those things that we recommend that you don't rush out and get right away. But it is good for Springfield, as well as your CPAT card is good for Springfield's fire department, as well as other fire departments that you may be testing for.
The last thing I want to point out too is that you can be 20 years of age to apply and test, but you would be required to be 21 to be offered a position. So if you're on the list and you're not 21, we would just simply skip over you, kind of like how the one-time Passover happens. We go to hire again, then we would come back and look and see if you've hit your 21st birthday yet. If not, then unfortunately, we would not be able to hire you off the list until you do so.
And one of the things that Human Resources will contact you via email through several of these steps. So ensure that you have a current email on file with Human Resources. And if you change your email or your address or phone number or any of your vital information, please let Human Resources know that information so that when the time comes that you can be contacted. You've already gone through all this work. Make sure that they have a way to contact you.
And make sure you spell your email correctly. I've already encountered that with a couple individuals, because if you don't spell it correctly, you're not going to get those notifications from us.
So thank you very much for your interest in joining the Springfield Fire Department. Again, this is your first step into a very rewarding career, and we hope that you succeed. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you for attending this session.